You have bought your telescope. This is a Skywatcher Star Travel 80 millimeter. Is a good grab and go telescope. Um, the mechanics of it is really good, solid. It has a finder scope. Objective lens is 80 millimeter. To have such a thing in the past was a dream. 3-inch or 75 millimeter was the maximum you could afford in 1970s or 80s. Now, thanks to the economic miracle of the China, we can afford all these telescopes at a very good price, reasonable price. Now, what you can actually use with this telescope, what eyepieces you want. Usually, the eyepieces that come with the telescopes are actually optimized for the telescope that you get. So something like this Skywatcher Super 26 wide-angle long eye relief eyepiece are really good. They're lightweight, they're optimized for this, and they have a sharp image all across, almost. So I don't think that you will need anything more than this for the wide-angle view when you start to observe. And there is also 10 millimeter of it. Then you can get also a Barlow lens for this. It comes with a package. And 2 times Barlow, you can actually make this, you know how the Barlow works, of course. Barlow, the magnification of it doubles everything that is on the focal length of the eyepiece. Focal length is 25 millimeter here, so double that amount, or half it practically. It makes it double the focal length, so half the magnification. So that is 25. That becomes divided by 2, 12.5 millimeter. So, and with the 10 millimeter one, you can actually have a 10 divided by 2, you can have a 5 millimeter. This is, this is a very wide angle telescope first. So you need high magnification for looking at the planets like Jupiter and Saturn. So 5 is a good magnification. So you will be really good and well equipped if you just go for what the manufacturer has included with the telescope. But in the case that if you wanted to upgrade to something, what are your options? Let me just show you a few. So the first thing probably you will think is to go really budget and get something like a zoom eyepiece. It has everything in one package. So practically zoom eyepiece, this one is from 7.5 to 22.5 millimeter. It's a good option when you don't want to carry more than one eyepiece with yourself. That's the best thing you can have, other than what the manufacturer has provided. So this zoom eyepiece is really good if you can, just justify it. The only thing is that you have to change when you want to magnify, you have to twist this. And sometimes it may, just a little bit change the view of the telescope slightly to knock the telescope from the target. But anyway, it's a wide-angle telescope, this Star Travel 80, so it doesn't make much difference. So you will be well off with this zoom if you just choose that. But if you wanted something really wide-angle, other than 25 or 22.5 that this provides you, low magnification, I should say, a 40 millimeter eyepiece. This one is mid. You can get from Celestron. And there are many other ones. They're all the same. They're all built in the same factories, probably in China. Optical companies in China are very good. If you wanted a little bit more clear view than what the sharpest view, I should say, what the 25 millimeter was providing you, I recommend the orthoscopic eyepiece. 25 millimeter is a really good. I have not seen orthoscopic eyepiece more than 25. Really good. You can get them cheap, but they're second hand usually. This one is Vixen, so it's quite good, made in Japan. And the maximum field of view, or maximum field of view, what you can see, the circle of what you can see in the sky, the size of it is 32 usually. So 32 millimeter plus all eyepieces like these ones are perfect. This is the eyepiece I use with every telescope and is unbranded. just for finding the target in the sky. As you can see here, even here now, look how low magnification it is. It gives you the widest field of view. With the star travel, that is perfect for finding extended objects, finding the target that you are looking for, then changing to a lower magnification when you have found it. So I recommend, this is an unbranded Chinese one, cheap, probably the price of a chocolate box or something like that. Very cheap. You can get also second-hand ones if you find something like this, plus or 20 millimeter. Is a little bit higher magnification. And the same with the 25 millimeter mid. These eyepieces are amazing. This one is called aspheric, SV Boni, or you can see with the Celestron also, they have another name, Vita, I think they call it. These are aspheric. The lens is molded in a shape, a specific shape that gives really clarity, clear image. And I've seen one of the sharpest views of the moon with this 10 millimeter. There's a 4 millimeter one also, and 23 millimeter of it is really good. The angle of view, the field of view of this is 62, so really good, cheap, like a chips. But if you want to spend money, and you have the money to spend, you can go for something like Teleview 24 millimeter panoptic. This gives you 68 degrees field of view. This is practically the widest field of view you can get in any, eyepiece in the barrel size of a 1.25 inch, around 31 millimeter. This gives you the best. This is the best practically. Expensive, depending where you are, can be anything between 200 to 300 dollar or pound, or the unit of your currency. And therefore something similar to that, slightly narrower field of view, but a view as good as that, you can use a microscope eyepiece like this Zeiss one. They're really available cheap, and I'm really delighted with this eyepiece. I use it to observe the comet ZTF. Really, this is a good discovery I made, and I'm really happy with that. It is a Zeiss, it is cheap, and field of view is around 62 degrees, I think, or 65. Very similar to this panoptic one in the sense of field of view. Yet you can go for Nagler. This is a 4 millimeter Nagler. There is a this is of course Nirvana. Nagler one are these ones. This one is Teleview Nagler type 6, 5 millimeter. Very good sharp views of the planets you can have. Similar to this are Nirvana. These are made by the Helios or Skywatcher, or different names. You can find them in AliExpress or anywhere in your country. You can find them where they have second-hand eyepiece sales. And also Teleview 7 millimeter. The sharpest field of view with this Teleview 7 millimeter I found, and even sharper than that, is this Takahashi. If you want to go for the ultimate, in my point of view, go for this one, 7.5 millimeter, slightly cheaper than the Nagler, and yet very sharp. There are 5 millimeter. I have not that one. I have 7.5. I have the 12.5, and I have an 18 millimeter one. These are really good eyepieces. Of course, you will not lose anything if you just go for anything like these cheaper ones, or even the eyepieces that came with your telescope. The most important thing is that you use them to observe. The best eyepiece, the best telescope is the one you can use easier. Something that doesn't, make you feel that you don't want to use it because it is expensive like this one. It falls and you will feel regretful why you dropped it. These ones are cheap. Even if they fall, they don't get damaged much, unless you really drop it under a car or something. So I recommend Plössl eyepieces are the best if you can live with it. They are really good. 52 degrees field of view, and you have a large options with them, 40 millimeter and others. So these are the eyepieces you can use with the star travel. Now you may ask why I am using this eyepiece and this. This is just a cheap eyepiece I got. It's the Orion Expanse. The 9 millimeter of it is very good, but 6 millimeter also. This 20 millimeter I just use it for because it's blue, with the blue of the color of this. It just looks nice. on display.